Hello everyone, a very good evening to all. So finally, as per your request, we are going to cover a very important topic as this equipment is also important and their categorization and other things has to be covered some or the other way in different forms. When I talk of CO2 system, as you all are seafarers, you must be aware that CO2 system, when we talk about, then CO2 system has a it's a critical equipment for in first hand, and second thing, it is dealt with very precision, as you know that it's a portable as well as fixed in form. So in our oral exam, we have been often asked this question of high and low pressure CO2 system. So when we talk about high and low pressure CO2 system, so there are nowadays, because low pressure system is coming more into picture, that is the reason this concept has been right. So if I talk about CO2 systems, it's like a total flooding system in the engine room, machinery space, or the cargo hold. So we have a number of CO2 in high pressure system. We have a number of CO2 cylinders whose outlets are connected to a common manifold. From there the CO2 is directed via selector valves into various protected spaces. If the protected space is large, a high number of cylinders are required. You must have seen there is a separate CO2 room where all the CO2 bottles are stored vertically. Okay, there can be replaced by a single CO2 tank. Okay, that we are talking about is low pressure CO2 system. Saving approximately, so this is the advantage of low pressure CO2 system over high pressure CO2 system. That is that in low pressure system you have what is known as it can be replaced by a single tank. So the issue of dealing with all the multi-cylinder, which becomes little time consuming and cumbersome. In inspection also you have to check all the CO2 bottles individually, whether it is okay, we have different type of inspection and all, we may talk it some or the other time. Save approximately 50% in weight, okay, and installation cost. Okay, the tank contains CO2 cooled to minus 18 degrees Celsius. The tank, refrigerators, distribution valves, control, etc. are supplied pre-wired and ready assembled on a steel frame. So this is the whole description about low pressure CO2 system. Okay, we move on and we'll discuss in detail about this CO2 high pressure first. Okay, so it is suitable for extinguishing closed spaces, as you all know, like engine room, auxiliary room, carbon holds, etc. Extinguish the fire within a short time, and leave no residue after extinguishing. This is an advantage of CO2 system rather than an advantage of a high pressure CO2 system, because it leaves no residue. Whereas whenever we talk about other mode of extinguishing system, they leave residue. So after the fire is extinguished, you need to have a housekeeping. So that plays a vital role. Shutdown time after a fire will be reduced to a minimum. Okay, shutdown time. Suitable for extinguishing fires in combustible liquids, gases and electrical equipment, and for extinguishing smoldering fires in wood, paper, textiles, etc. Installed as a total flooding central bank system, inclusive a number of distributions. Okay, central bank, it's like a central bank, all the bottles. So it can go either to the purifier room, it can go either to the pump room, or it can go to the engine room. Okay, likewise. Normally installed with pneumatic release, but can also be supplied with mechanical, electrical, and manual release. Okay, so these three are the provisions. Normally we have pneumatic, we can also have mechanical, electrical, or manual release system. So when we talk about the construction, this is the rough diagram, and it's a live picture that is from a ship. You can see here the cylinder battery, we have distribution valve handle, control cylinder. Okay, all these equipment will not go in depth. Okay, So if we talk about the construction, the CO2 system consists of one or more pressure cylinder containing the extinguishing agent CO2. The cylinders are connected via a common manifold. All the cylinders leads to a common manifold. From the common manifold, the extinguished agent is led to the distribution valve. वो distribution valve पे जाता है, where it has to get distributed to the protected space. The valve construction, cylinder size and cylinder pressure, combined with the computer calculated pipe and nozzle dimensioning. Okay, these are all calculated, ensures the extinguishing agent is distributed in correct quantity and within the prescribed time. The release is activated pneumatically, electrically or mechanically, as we have discussed earlier also. Pressure operated cylinder valves offer a possibility of connecting CO2 cylinders in groups. Operated pneumatically from one or the more release cabinet equipment with CO2 gas cylinder. The release cabinet are equipped with pilot valves for use in opening cylinders and distribution valves by pipe connections. So for pneumatic operations, the built-in actuator is used for each cylinder valve. These are connected to the other cylinder valves in the group via series connected flexible high pressure hoses. CO2 cylinders. If we talk about CO2 cylinders, the cylinders are delivered as 67.5 liter steel cylinders filled with 45 kg of CO2, or alternatively as 80 liters steel cylinders filled with 53.6 kg of CO2. So there are these two provisions. So it can be either 45 kg CO2 or 53.6 kg of CO2. To enable remote control and quick release, the cylinders are supplied with pressure operating quick opening valve, which also offer the possibility of manual operation. Okay, so we have this manual operation provision. The valve construction secures against damaging overpressure in the cylinder, as the valve has a built-in bursting disc activated at a normal pressure of 190 bars. So we have a bursting disc over there. Now when we talk about CO2 room, the cylinder are normally stored in a separate, well ventilated and insulated room. I have already given a video on the regulations and the requirement for CO2 room. Please do visit my channel and watch that video, where the temperature is kept between 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. The room must have free access to open air. The room should have a minimum clear height of 2.4 meter to provide adequate space for the mounting of manifold and weighing beams. So we also have a weighing beams, because in when you do the inspection, so you have to have this weighing, see how much CO2 is lost. So depending on the criteria, we have to discard, or discard means what? We have to land it. Checking equipment. The cylinders can be checked by weighing device or liquid level measurement. Okay. Special equipment to reduce the installation time in CO2 rooms on board ship. Cylinders arrangement mounted in rack consisting of up to 100 pieces of 45 53.6 kg cylinders, complete with manifold and fixing equipment, can be supplied. Okay, so this is the whole criteria. Now when we talk about CO2 extinguishing system, release system, the pressure controlled cylinder valve. All release systems are based on the unique pressure operated. Okay, so this valve is used in all system in which pressure cylinders CO2 and N2 form a part. CO2 cylinders with content of up to 60 kg discharge can be released. So CO2 can be 60 kg discharge can be released with this valve housing, and that too in 1 minute. Valve housing and internal parts are made of brass or stainless steel with tightening material of neoprene or copper. The valve is constructed as a combined pressure operated quick opening valve with hand wheel for manual opening. The valve is designed with a unique function that enables the user to perform a real check of the valve function. By opening the control valve for releasing the cylinder while leaving the distribution valve closed, the manifold will be pressurized. It can then be proved that each valve is opened. So this is a check of this question can be asked, how it can be ensured that the valve is open. By closing the control valve, the release piping system will be relieved and the cylinder valves will close. This function is required by some classes and authorities. Pneumatic release system. So when we talk about pneumatic release system, this was the earlier one was pressure controlled cylinder valve. Now when we talk about pneumatic release system, total flooding system are required group of cylinders to be released simultaneously. For the purpose, pneumatically operated cylinder valves are used in conjunction with the pilot pressure from the master release control box containing control cylinders CO2 and N2, two control valves, a pressure gauge and one or two door switches. And as an option, the system can be supplied with pneumatic time delay device to delay the opening of the main valve. Emergency release from the CO2 room can be made by manually opening the cylinder valve and then operating the two local control valves. Okay, so this was the whole idea of when we talk about, so basic difference when we talk about this high pressure or the low pressure CO2 system. When we talk about that, idea is about that we don't have those many cylinders. So you can have a look at this low pressure system. Okay, this is also on one of the ship it was installed. I have taken this live image for you. Low pressure CO2 system are intended for use where large machinery and cargo spaces requires protection with carbon dioxide. The advantage of low pressure system is that one single tank replaces a large number of CO2 cylinders with an approximate saving of 50% in weight. So we have a weight saving. Weight saving हमारा हो गया. We only have one tank, so inspection is easy. We have one bigger tank, so inspection is easy, which is not time consuming. 50% in weight reduction. So all these are advantages of low pressure CO2 system over high pressure CO2 system. The tank, main valve, distribution valve, refrigerators and associated controls are supplied pre-wired and ready assembled on a common steel frame. Okay. The quantity of carbon dioxide is shown directly by an electronic gauge indicating the actual tons of CO2 in the tank. So we have an electronic gauge as well, which indicates the actual ton of CO2 in the tank that is present. The gauge unit is fitted with alarm contact. So this gauge unit is definitely fitted with alarm contact, so which can warn, okay, at low CO2 content in the tank. So if at a preset, if the level of CO2 goes down at a preset value, then there is a alarm. Recharging after use is made directly from a truck. For large vessels, the installation cost of a low pressure CO2 system is considerably lower compared to installation cost of a high pressure CO2 system. So when a surveyor asks you this question of difference between low pressure CO2 system and a high pressure CO2 system, so you need to mention that approximately weight, 50% reduction in weight. Okay, we have a single tank, we don't have n number of cylinders, and we also have what is installation cost, which reduces in low pressure CO2 system. The system is designed to meet the requirement of appropriate classification society to which the vessel is being built. Okay, now when we talk about this tank, the tank is constructed as a steel pressure vessel in accordance with the classification society requirements. The tank is equipped with two safety valves which are fitted to three-way change-over valve. Thus, one safety valve is connected to the vessel if the other one is out of operation. The tank unit is supplied complete and ready for use. Installed on a regular steel framework and held in position by thermally insulated supports. The tank is insulated with non-flammable polyurethane foam protected by an aluminium cover. Okay, so this is the construction of the tank. Refrigeration unit. The refrigeration unit are installed at the end of the tank on the support frame and are completely duplicated both mechanically and electrically. So this is, you here also in the picture you can see this refrigeration unit. Okay, it is completely a duplicated unit here, what we are talking about. Sorry. The refrigerant is environmentally friendly, and the cooling circuits on the compressors and condensers are suitable for either seawater, freshwater or air cooling. The tank is maintained at a temperature of minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is equivalent to a CO2 storage pressure of 2.1 MPa. So this corresponding temperature and pressure. The pressure falls below 1.05 MPa, which would cause freezing at the nozzle. So that is the reason why we keep this. Okay. So now when we talk about this one, it was already, we have covered these points. CO2 level indication. So now when we talk about indication, then we have electrical capacitance type liquid gauge is fitted and the meter is calibrated from zero tank content to full. The indicator has an accuracy plus minus 2% and is fitted with an alarm switching indicating minimum filling requirement. Uh, reg, uh, to meet rule requirement, an overfill valve and a level side tube with isolation valve is fitted. Controls: a pre-wired operating panel, as we have already discussed, all these things. So this is what is required. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So a pre-wired operating panel is installed there. Now when we talk about this valves and filling connections, the automatically operated main stop valves and distribution valves are ball valves fitted with manual override. The valves are oversized so that the appropriate quantity of carbon dioxide will be discharged in accordance with the rule requirement. To prevent ice formation on the valves, this is the common problem. So we have siphon tubes, as you all must be aware of it. Okay. So main outlet pipe from the tank is located at the top. Okay, main outlet pipe, to prevent ice formation on the valve, the main outlet pipe from the tank is located at the top of the tank as a continuation of the tank dip tube. The tank is filled by a truck through twin filling and balancing line led from the tank to deck level port or starboard. Isolation valves and hose connections are fitted to these lines. Release of carbon dioxide. Now when we talk about this release of carbon dioxide, remote release of the required quantity of gas to a particular space is made from master control boxes. Okay, so from master control boxes we have this provision. The release system utilizes the CO2 pressure from the tank to actuate the main stop valve and the distribution valve via pressure operated control valve, and these valves are arranged for remote operation from the master control box. When appropriate quantity of carbon dioxide has been discharged, the distribution valve is closed automatically by means of a solenoid operated control valve actuated by the electronic timer. Now when we talk about this distribution system, the distribution valve is connected to a computer calculated piping system within the protected space and to which the CO2 nodules are connected. The piping is dimensioned so that the required quantity of gas will be discharged within the prescribed time, and at no point in the piping system will have that problem. Okay, so now when we talk about all these when we talk about this CO2 system, so you must always be aware about this, the advantage of low pressure CO2 system over high pressure CO2 system. What are the cost of installation in terms of weight, in terms of maintenance, in terms of time. Okay, and when we talk about there's a reliability, that also is a factor for choosing a low pressure system over high pressure CO2 system. So all these factors you must keep in mind very thoroughly so that it becomes easy for an individual to understand, because these days surveyors are asking these questions. So in terms of construction as well, you need to keep all these points in mind, that what are the construction difference that is there. So we have a parallel body refrigeration body, which is not there in the case of high pressure CO2 system. Okay, thank you all, thank you for your valuable time, And I would also request you all to share your valuable feedback so that we can improvise on this. And if you want us to cover any topic, please do comment for that also. All the best.